Strike!
Tell me something I don't know, Ump.
Well, unlike that nasty curveball, there aren't any surprises when you finance your next car with Carvana. You get real terms personalized for you right in your strike zone.
Really?
Steady right!
How am I supposed to focus when you're telling me about Carvana?
Well, Slugger, you gotta keep your eye on the ball. Just like you can keep an eye on your customized down and monthly car payments.
I can customize those?
He's out and on his way to finance his next car with Carvana.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get pre-qualified today. We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
On today's Smart 7, Rwanda ruled out by Court of Appeal, Spy Cops report slams undercover practices and lots more. It's Friday the 30th of June, it's International Asteroid Day, and happy birthday Catherine Ryan.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Way back in April 2022, Boris's government announced a grand plan to send asylum seekers on a one-way trip to Rwanda so they could apply for asylum there. It seemed like a crazy scheme, and sure enough, the first flight, which was due to take place last June, never took off after a multitude of legal challenges. Thursday saw the appeals court weigh in on the matter as the three-judge panel ruled that the long-distance scheme was in fact not permitted. Lord Chief Justice Lord Burnett made the announcement.
The result is that the High Court's decision that Rwanda was a safe third country is reversed, and that unless and until the deficiencies in its asylum processes are corrected, removal of asylum seekers to Rwanda will be unlawful.
It caps off a bad week for Home Secretary Suella Braverman, who found out on Tuesday that the cost per asylum seeker for the Rwanda scheme was going to be £169,000. That's according to an impact assessment and would be on top of the £140 million already paid to Rwanda. But Suella's vowed to carry on with her struggle to stop the small boats.
Whilst, of course, we are disappointed with the decision today, we will be putting in an application to seek permission to appeal very, very swiftly.
Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer says he has a plan that involves actually processing asylum claims.
The government's got no plan. It's got a gimmick, which is the Rwanda scheme, a gimmick which has already cost the taxpayer £140 million. And now we know from the court judgment this morning that the government didn't even do the basics to make sure that it was fit for purpose.
Boris is now banned from the Commons after the Partygate report, but the Privileges Committee aren't finished yet. They published a list of 7 Tory MPs and 3 peers whose behaviour put the system of checks and balances at risk. The list includes some of Boris's best buddies, including Nadine Why Can't I Be a Lady Doris, Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg and Priti Patel. Leaders of the Commons Penny Mordaunt says there'll be a debate on the report, but it's a serious matter.
It is in this House's interest that we have such a committee, and it is absolutely vital that members of this House are prepared to serve on such committees. So we are very happy to bring forward that report.
Shadow Leader of the House, Labour's Thangam Debonair, is hoping the man who missed the last vote takes a stand this time.
It's about time the Prime Minister showed up and showed some leadership. If he doesn't stand up for standards, what does he actually stand for?
An inquiry into undercover police operations originally commissioned by then Home Secretary Theresa May in 2014 finally issued its first report on Thursday. Sir John Mitting's report looks specifically at operations carried out between 1968 and 1982. The practice of inserting undercover officers into primarily left-wing groups appears to have resulted in absolute chaos, with at least 6 undercover officers having sexual relationships during their covert deployments. The officers also used the identities of dead children to create their undercover personas, and the report concluded the whole practice should have been stopped over 50 years ago. Commander John Saville of the Met Police says undercover work is a legitimate tactic, but apologised to those involved.
With the benefit of hindsight, there should have been more care taken in relation to the groups that were being infiltrated. What was going on 40 years ago bears no resemblance at all to how undercover policing is now in 2023.
Activist groups speaking outside the court says the spy cop saga's gone on for far too long.
The shocking reality has at last been acknowledged. The results of the inquiry so far are devastating for the police, the security services and government.
Ukrainian troops continue to make progress in their spring offensive, capitalising on the chaos that arose from last weekend's mini-mutiny. Thursday saw news that the Wagner mercenary group will no longer fight in Ukraine after refusing to sign Kremlin contracts. Meanwhile, Vladimir Putin made a rare and bizarre public appearance in the streets of the Russian Republic of Dagestan as he looks to shore up his image as leader. European leaders are meeting in Brussels in advance of July's NATO summit, and President of the European Parliament, Roberta Metsola, says that whatever's going on in Russia, the EU will continue to back the Ukraine.
What we can be certain about is that Ukraine must remain our number one priority. Our policies are working. Putin is weaker and Ukraine is efficiently fighting back.
Still to come on the Smart 7, Lewis Hamilton gets cranky in Austria and Liam Neeson has transport issues. Right after this.
That was a great dinner.
So great. Wait, where'd you park the car?
Oh, the one I just sold to Carvana.
What? When did you do that?
When you were still looking at the menu. I went on Carvana.com and all I had to do was enter the license plate or VIN, answer a few questions, and got a real offer in seconds.
They picked up the car already?
No, I parked around the corner. But they are picking it up tomorrow and paying me right on the spot.
Oh, no wonder you picked up the check.
Yeah, about that. Thought we were going halvesies.
Sell your car to Carvana. Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get a real offer in seconds.
Welcome back. This weekend sees the Austrian Grand Prix, Red Bull's home race. Max Verstappen basically has the championship in the bag at this stage, but fellow Red Bull driver Sergio Perez was ill on Thursday and missed the media round. All the talk was about Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney's investment in the Alpine team, but there's been no sign of the Wrexham boys in the pits as yet. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton was sounding cranky about Red Bull's dominance as he called for a ban on how soon teams can begin development of next season's cars.
I think the FIA should probably put a time when everyone's allowed to start developing on the next year's car so that no one can get an advantage on the next year, because that sucks.
We've all faced those Ryanair summer flights, numb knees, no elbow room, screaming kids and the dread of needing to use the loo. Well, what about a TV show that takes you through all that in real time, but with Idris Elba? It's sort of like 24 in the Sky in the new Apple TV Plus show Hijack. Idris plays Sam Nelson, a business negotiator who needs to put those skills to use when his Dubai to London flight gets hijacked. Despite some critics describing it as Luther without a coat, Idris says he enjoyed doing something a little bit different.
I wanted to play Sam because he's an ordinary guy in a really weird situation, and he's a human being with really, the need to want to go see his family. And I just wanted to try and characterise that. I play characters that are tough, sort of masculine, toxic. This is a guy that's just scared.
He's renowned for having a particular set of skills, but he's now taken those skills on the road. He's Liam Neeson, who now specialises in playing the unlikely dad who has to go on a killing spree. This time it's a movie called Retribution, in which he gets stuck in his own car, and if he stops driving, it'll blow up. It hits Sky Cinema this autumn.
Honey, something's happened. There's a man who has put a bomb in the car. Under our seats, there are pressure triggers. We can't get out. The car will explode. We're here.
Listen very carefully, or I kill you. Open the glove box. Shoot him.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.